all of us burst in deeper agony. Tears started flowing uncontrollably because that very Shabda Brahmamaya, who is the very embodiment of sound, was unable to speak today, and he has taken so much. Who is God? Swami once asked this question to primary school students, and they gave very scholarly answers to it. Swami had a mischievous smile and he looked at the primary school students and said, God is like an ice cream. He is cool like an ice cream. He is pure like a vanilla ice cream. And his heart melts easily just like an ice cream. But what is required to melt the heart of God? Here is a beautiful episode from the month of August 1999. Bhagwan had promised to come to the university auditorium in Prasanthi Nilayam and address his students on the occasion of the MBA day. And Swami had spoken to students about this, and the students were really excited about Swami coming to the university and had made elaborate preparations. The band was ready, the floral decorations were ready, the stage was set, and all the school and university students were assembled in the auditorium. Bhagwan came in his beautiful red car with the background music being played by our very talented band boys. They gave a wonderful welcome to Bhagwan with Vedam and music. But when Swami walked into the auditorium, where we were all seated with eager anticipation, each one of us craning from our seats to see where is Swami, where is Swami, Swami entered the auditorium from the north side. And as he walked, we could notice that his walk was something unusual. It was not the usual Swami we saw every day during darshan. Because Swami would, though he would glide, it would never look like Swami is walking on the floor. It would always look like Swami is floating in air. He would glide in air. But that day, he was stopping and walking, and something was different about the walk. So all of us were wondering what had happened. Slowly the message spread amongst us and reached us that Swami is physically unwell. But we did not know to what extent. Swami went onto the stage and asked for the mic to be placed for the discourse, and he also asked the translator, Shri Anil Kumar Garu, to be placed, his podium to be placed right next to Swami's table. We did not understand why. Because usually his podium is placed at a distance, and Swami had asked him to come closer. And he did so. And within a few moments we understood what was the reason behind all this, why Swami was walking like that, and what had happened on that day. Swami stood in front of the mic and he tried to speak, but no voice came out. He tried his best, but nothing was coming out. And in a very faint voice, Swami said, I am trying to speak, but nothing is coming out. And Anil Kumar Garu, the translator, had to literally place his ears next to Swami's mouth, almost in front of Swami's mouth, to understand or hear what Swami was trying to say. There's absolutely no voice coming out of Swami. And seeing that sight, all of us broke into tears because we could not see that Swami, who was so down in his physical health, had taken so much of pains to come to the auditorium, and he's standing there to speak to us. The one who would thunder in his discourses was now struggling to even speak a single word. And that sight, was something which we could not tolerate, which we could not bear. And all of us burst out crying. And I remember that day there was not a single individual in that auditorium, not a single student or a teacher in the auditorium who was not crying. Because they could not see that sight of Bhagwan struggling so much to speak. Swami looked at all of us. He spanned the whole auditorium and looked at us. And at that point of time, Swami took a deep breath, placed his hands on the table, looked down for some time, and he whispered something in the mic first. He said, Devudu Shabda Brahmamayudu. God is the very embodiment of sound. All of us burst in deeper agony. Tears started flowing uncontrollably because that very Shabda Brahmamaya God, who is the very embodiment of sound, was unable to speak today. And he has taken so much pains to come and speak to us. And seeing our state, Swami just looked down at the table for some time, maybe around 30 seconds or so. Suddenly he looked up and he thundered a beautiful poem in the highest of pitch. And suddenly Swami's voice had returned all of a sudden, and we were all taken by surprise, and the whole auditorium burst in claps, and the applause, I remember, went for more than a minute. And we were so filled with joy that Swami has got his voice back. Swami started his poem at the highest of pitches, and the essence of that poem which Swami sang that day was, if the rivers flow incessantly, if the sun rises incessantly, if the nature does its duty incessantly, on whose command the nature works in such meticulous manner, that one is standing in front of you. This is what Swami had told on that day to us, and that went on to, that led on to become a 45-minute to 1 hour discourse by Bhagavan. And during the discourse, Swami revealed to us what exactly had happened. Swami had apparently taken up the disease or discomfort of a devotee, and his throat had become completely congested, and he was not able to speak, in fact, for the previous couple of days. And the Vice Chancellor and the Registrar were trying to convince Bhagavan that it is after all our students, Swami, we can always convince them that Swami's physical health is not fine, and Swami will come sometime later and speak to them once he is alright. But Swami insisted, saying, no, they are my boys. Once I have given a word to my students, I have to fulfill whatever happens. And Swami said, the entire previous night to that day, Swami locked himself in the bathroom and he was shouting. He was trying to bring voice out. He was shouting. He was putting all possible manual physical effort, humanly physical effort to bring out the voice, but it would not come. He then decided that whatever happens, he will come to the auditorium and visit us. So he came there and stood in front of us. Swami then said, though I have all the powers in my hands, I will never misuse my powers. I have never gone against the laws of the nature, even one single time. But this time, I had to break the law of nature for one reason, and that reason is love. When I saw my students and my children seated in front of me in tears, in deep agony, feeling my pain as their own, I could not stand it anymore. It is their love that melted my heart, and it is because of that very same love that I decided that the voice has to emanate from this form, and hence it has emanated in the form of this divine discourse. And that discourse went on for almost an hour that day. And at the end, Swami began to sing his bhajan in his traditional way. And as Swami was singing the bhajan, the voice went off, and Swami finally just gestured, even before the bhajan was over, that the voice is gone. It is no longer there. And it was not there for a few more days. Swami would come for darshan, but he wouldn't speak to anybody. So if there is one thing that melts the ice cream-like heart of the Lord, it is the warmth of the love of a devotee. There is nothing else that matters to him. It is only the warmth of the love of a devotee that can melt the heart of the Lord, and he can change earth into sky and sky into earth for this one thing, which is the love of the devotee for him.